We are live. We are live. We are live. I gotta get this camera going, but
I can't hear it.
hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear Simone? Simone, can you hear
I
me?
can't hear you.
Click on my picture.
I
Click
can't
on my.
hear.
Don't know what to do.
Hmm.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear.
Oh, it's going through the. 1 second. It's going through the live on Facebook. Let me back up to that.
We got 4 people in here. A little technical difficulties, y'all, but we in here. Just give us 1 second.
Oh, it's going through the. 1 second. It's going through the live on Facebook. Let me back up to that.
Hello.
Can you
Yes.
hear us?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us yet?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Perfect.
I don't know what happened.
So we got like 7 people already in here. So, hey, it's straight. It's straight. All right, so let's get right to it. I'm glad we got that out of the way now. So you know what it is, guys. Welcome to the Sunday Football Talk Live. We got our girl Simone here with us. She was supposed to be on last week, but now we got her. You know what I'm saying? I locked her down. I wasn't letting her go this time. But so let's have some fun, man. So we already got 7 people in here, so if you guys are in here, please go subscribe to Simone with the Sports. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Drop a like, share the video, all that good stuff. But let's get right into it. So a lot of news, over the week. Some things will wait a little bit longer for. Some things are a little bit juicier. But I wanted to get right into us picking up Vinny Curry, and I kind of want to make it a 2-part question, really. I want to say, what do you think the impact of Vinny Curry coming back will be as for the team? And then what do you think it will be impact-wise on Derek Barnett? Do you think this will still be his year to break out? We'll start with you, Brandon, and work our way down.
All right, cool. Yeah. So, I mean, it's always exciting to get a player that really loves to be on the team back. I mean, Vinny Curry, he had his one stint in Tampa, but even when he was re-signed to the Eagles, there was plenty of videos and like interviews where he was just smiling and he was just happy to be back. I mean, I know last season he had about 5 sacks and 12 quarterback hits. So, I mean, we're not really looking for him to be an all-star by any means, but the fact that he can at least apply some pressure when it's his time to go in, I think it's useful. I mean, it's always good to have people that want to be on the team, and it's also good to have some people that can do something rather than nothing.
Facts. How about you, Simone?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I said I definitely agree. I feel like he had his better numbers in 2019 when he came back to Philly. A lot of people were saying like he wasn't really effective with the Bucks, and that can go into what you were saying. Like he wants to be with the Eagles, and that's obviously a teammates that he can thrive with. And I feel like him coming in as a rotational player, I don't think it's going to have a negative impact on Barnett at all. Probably have a positive, knowing that when he's taking his rest, it's a guy that he can trust that's going to come in and hold down the reins. I feel like he's going to have a positive impact just by the attitude of wanting to be on the team. We've had guys before. Every team has guys that don't want to be on the team. They want to be traded. So having guys that are, want to be there, want to be motivated. He was Pro Football Focus's most improved player for the Eagles last season. So hopefully, he's trending in the right direction and he can, be a veteran and have a positive impact on those younger guys.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for him. Like you guys said, he wants to be an Eagle. We can drum that down. But the Eagles run off of emotion. We are an emotional team. We're a team. You know what I mean? It's not a bunch of stars. It's a bunch of players that come together and play well together. And he's the perfect picture of that, just because he is the motivator. He's that crazy guy. Him and Tim Jernigan were a lot of fun to watch. They just had a lot of fun on that sideline. So I'm definitely excited to see him come back. And it's cheap, so it's a good cheap option.
Right. Yeah.
But my thing is, I kind of want to see Derek Barnett. I know we do a rotation, and I know it's going to probably be that way either way. But I just want to see Derek Barnett really step out this year and earn that $10 million. I don't want another Nelson Aguilar type situation where we're paying somebody for no, production.
Yeah, I hear that.
And, really with him is just, injury. He has to stay out there and stay healthy. But I'm very excited to see him come back. Now, staying on that tune of people who are coming back, is there any other free agents that you guys are thinking of that you might want to get? Is AB on your mind? Who do you guys want?
Simone, you can go first on that one.
There's not anybody I'm like, oh, I want to see him become an Eagle. It's not really that many guys on the free agency board, really, besides, Jadeveon and Everson. And we already, X'd them two off the list when we got Vinny. So it's not really anybody I'm like, oh, I want to see them in an Eagles uniform next season. Yeah, the free agency board is really it's really nothing there. But I feel like as the season goes along, we can see ourselves, maybe picking someone up, especially since, not only injury we have to look out for, but, people testing positive for the virus. So I feel like you really can never say never with any of these free agents, because come, week 7, week 9, week 11, if we're on a run and, somebody goes down because of COVID, then, we definitely have to take what's best on the board.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially, I think Devontae Freeman is still a free agent, and I like our running back room right now. But like you said, if COVID hits, if one of the guys go down, picking up those guys mid-season is always great. And to just kind of step back real quick to the Derek Barnett question, I do think that he's trending upward if you look at his stats and everything like that. Last year was his best season, and Vinny Curry was on the team. So, he had 6.5 sacks with 22 quarterback hits. So he's disrupting things and he's trending upward. So hopefully, like you said, he stays healthy. Just want to kind of get that out there. But I don't want Antonio Brown. Great wide receiver, great NFL player. You can never take away his stats, but we don't need that drama diva with the Eagles, because Carson has been doing well with guys that aren't really like that, and I don't want to experiment when we have something going.
We got Simone back. You back, Simone? You good?
I can't hear y'all.
What is this?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what's going on.
What did you do last time, Brandon, that it made it work?
I didn't do anything.
I don't know. Can you hear us yet? Nothing? All right, well, we'll get to this question because I actually wanted to get to... Yeah, I don't know. Let me see if I'm muted. Can you hear us now? No? Can you hear us?
We're about to take a quick commercial break.
Right? All right, we're gonna let her try and figure that out real quick and add her back. But while we have this real quick, I did want to answer this question because it was actually something I was going to ask. What do you think about Clay Matthews, or a linebacker for that matter? Do you think that's something we could still be looking at?
Oh, I never thought about Clay Matthews. His name hasn't really come up. If he still got it and wants to really work hard and wants to be on the team, why not? Hey, what's up, Kev?
Hey, what's up? Had to join.
Heck yeah, man. I'm glad you could, man. I'm glad you could. And what's it called? Yeah. So now that we got you on, Kev, we're gonna have to ask you, what do you think about Clay Matthews or a linebacker for that matter? You think that's something we need to get in free agency?
Nah, I really don't think I think we're good on the linebackers because the way our scheme is, we play with speed linebackers, and Clay Matthews is good, but he's kind of declining. Plus, he played a 3-4 defense, so If anything, I would move Malik Jackson to like linebacker spot because he
Oh, I
can
can
play
hear you.
both kind of off the edge. So just my opinion.
No, I agree with you. I mean, we have a young linebacking core, so like it is what it is. And like you said, we don't use our linebackers kind of traditionally. So like Simone, now that we got you back, what do you think about Clay Matthews or any linebacker, that we could possibly pick up in the offseason or in the free agency?
If it was some better free agents, linebackers, I've only really seen Clay and Alec, Ogletree. I feel like picking them up is not going to make that much of a difference for us. Like you said, the linebacker group is important, but I don't think it's that important really on our defense. We got a great defensive line. We got a pretty good looking secondary. We have Nikhil playing probably in the slot, so he can, kind of make up for that coverage where the linebackers lack. So I don't really see a immediate need to sign Clay or Alec. If it was better guys to get.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel you on that. Now, all right. So now that we have Kev here, we'll answer your question. Oh, we lost it again. So we'll start with you, Brandon. Who do you think is going to be the biggest breakout player? For the Eagles, I'm assuming.
I know that we've talked about him a couple of times already, but Miles Sanders, I think with a full season under his belt and going to be able to start from day one, I feel like he could be a better running back than Josh Jacobs, who's been getting a lot of praise out there in Oakland. He's fast. He can catch the ball. His blocking has improved. There's been some highlights where they've shown him on TV where he steps up into the pocket and makes that block on the blitzing linebacker. So I feel that Miles Sanders is definitely going to take a big leap this year and remind us of like what a real starting running back looks like, because we haven't had one like that since Shady. So,
and what about you, Kev? If you had to answer your own question, what would your answer be?
For me, I think Derek Barnett, because like you said earlier, with the pressure we got for a healthy line, Malik Jackson coming back, Hargrave, Sweat, but all the replacement players you can throw in, I think Barnett's gonna have that money bag year. He's gonna want that big contract.
Hell yeah,
your option. So
I hope so. Like I said, I hope he earns that $10 million because I'm tired of paying people for nothing. We got Eagles season that said
he needs to cut down on the penalties too, though. He always wants to put that extra hit. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that little extra hit, but I feel like that's always an unnecessary roughness call on him, and he's always getting up like, "What, me?" And it's just like, "Yeah, bro, the play's been over."
Yeah, it was you. It's definitely you. It wasn't nobody else.
Especially the way with the rules now, you tackle quarterback. You just touch him now, you can get a flag. So yeah, he just gotta wrap him up, get him to the ground, get up. Next play. But yeah, definitely, I think they're Barnett though.
Hell yeah. So, all right. Well, actually, the next question I was going to ask, if you want to stay on, Kev, you're more than welcome to. What's it called? I was going to ask about all the opt-outs. I know we've been talking about it. We're kind of in a group chat, so I know we've all talked about it a lot. But what do you guys feel about like the opt-outs and what type of effect it's going to have on the NFL season? We'll start with you, Brandon.
Yeah, so I mean, when I was looking at the list earlier today of like all the players that opted out, it doesn't look as much as I thought there would have been. I know the Patriots had the most players opt out. They had 8 players opt out compared to, I think the second most was 5 from Cleveland. But if you're looking at the teams, I think one of the biggest losses for a team is the Giants losing Nate Soldier when they just traded for him, like a season or two ago. And like that offensive line has been their weakest point the last like so many years. So having Nate Soldier back out, I think that's a big hit for the Giants more than some of the other teams I saw.
What about you, Kev? What do you think?
For me, I think it's not really. It's going to be an impact, but I don't think it's that bad because it's really not that many big name people, but still it affect teams. So
right.
Plus the deadline already passed. So
so people they locked in now. They locked in. Either they catching it or they quitting. That's basically it.
Right.
But I just want them to be safe. Hopefully the season ends. That's my biggest thing. I'm at the point that the season will probably start, but I'm not very confident that it will end. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I'm surprised. honestly surprised more players didn't opt out. I mean, you had Odell Beckham tweeting out and saying that the NFL shouldn't be happening and that he's disappointed that they're using them, blah, blah, blah. But he's still playing because he's trying to get his biggest contract this year. So it's just like, you can't, like Stephen A. Smith, he was freaking out on ESPN about it. It's like, bro, you can't say all this, but then not opt out. Like if you really felt unsafe, you had the option to opt out, but you're choosing to get paid. So therefore you can't really complain about who's going to pay you when you're choosing to do it.
Exactly. And their opt out is way more than our unemployment boosters. Right. So I'm not feeling too bad about them opting out. Did you guys see what you guys saw what Deion Sanders said?
Oh, I briefly saw something this morning.
That was kind of. I mean, I don't agree with him at all. To be honest, I feel like he's kind of talking out his rear end, but it is what it is. I mean, I agree too. I guess if once you go ahead.
Yeah, I agree too. I think because if Deion, the way he was about his family, if it was like this happened around his time, I don't think he would play too. Especially with like health issues. Like if his mom or somebody or elderly person. He wouldn't want to affect them. So I think, it's just the time.
That's my thing. Yeah, it's like, if you ain't got nothing good to say, they're not taking out of your pocket at the end of the day. Like they're taking out of their own pocket. Just mind your own business, Deion. It's really none of your business.
That's what I think it is.
Now let's go kind of going off of what we've been talking about. Who do you think is the worst position group for the Eagles? Is it linebacker? Is it still cornerback? Is it still wide receiver? What do you think is going to be our weakest point this year?
Kevin, I'll let you take this one first.
All right, let's see. Well, I think this year it's tough, really, because, we improved in a lot of stuff. Definitely wide receiver core improved. Our running back, we still, trying to find out who's going to be the third or fourth, what we're going to do with the running back. So I still think that's solidated with Sanders and Scott and Clement if he stays healthy. But to me, I'm still thinking it could be offensive line still. Because you do got Larry Johnson, he's solid all pro. You got Kelsey, which is a all pro center, but he's getting older, and you still got you still got John Peters coming from a different position. It's gonna take a while for him to learn that. And Dillard, he's still like in his learning process.
Right. Yeah.
So,
offensive. I never thought about offensive line.
Yeah. So I think we still got a depth in offense. We got a lot of good rookies, but I think it's going to take a while with no camps to start and no preseason games. So I think that's probably the weakest. I think our linebackers getting better because we got speed. And I like Sean Bradley. I think Sean Bradley's going to impress a lot of people. I saw a couple of, his tapes. He's a beast. But, so I say offensive line, even though, that's our strength for years, I think with Peters have to go to another position and losing Brandon Brooks, for possibly the season or playoffs, whatever, didn't hurt us. Especially with, Wentz, the way he likes holding the ball. He likes holding the ball because he wants to feel comfortable. But now we got the speed.
Right.
We got the Deshaun. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. Open up the field. Ertz, Dallas, Goddard. So I still say the line. I think is our weakness now because we improve on defense. Where Slay could shut down that side of the field. We got the slot guy now too. So.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with it. Hold on, we're gonna add one more person. This dude named your boy Rod. See what he talking about.
Fellas.
What's good, bro?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Hey,
How you doing,
man? How are you doing?
Doing good. Bird gang all the way.
Hey, fly Eagles fly. So how do you feel about everything we're talking about? How do you feel about the opt-outs in the NFL season?
Really, man, I feel like, is of course the players want to take care of their health and all that kind of stuff. These teams and these owners, they're forking millions of dollars into these guys. So health is always a very important issue. But at the same time, from a fan standpoint, for me personally, I'm kind of sad to see that some of these guys aren't playing because this is what we as fans live to see. We live to see these guys play and perform every week that we watch football. So from the fan standpoint, I can kind of, I feel it. I understand that our frustration as fans, but also as a player who has a family, it's not just all about making all the money and going out and performing. You got families to provide for, just like every essential worker has a family to provide for. They have to make sure their health is number one before they go out and perform their job. You know what I mean? So that's my stance on it. But hopefully we can see everything turn around and see these guys get back out in the field and do what they do best, you know, and perform.
No, I agree 100%. I feel like some people forget that these guys are humans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We kind of look at them as, you know, for lack of a better term, superhero type figures because they're, you know, they're athlete superstars. And we forget that, like you said, they are human at the end of the day and they have more than just themselves that they're making decisions for. So that's a very good, you know, point of view. I agree. Now, what do you feel as an Eagles fan? What do you feel is our weakest position group this year, going into the year?
Man, I feel like if, you know, we're all Eagles fans, it's our secondary, man. I mean, thank God we signed Slay. You know what I mean? Because we definitely need somebody on one of the corners to cover some of these big guys like Julio Jones and your Mike Evans and all these guys that we're going to see throughout the season. But we still need work in the free safety area, the strong safety area, because we have for the past 2 or 3 years, we have guys like McLeod, you know, and Maddox that we've been kind of rotating through different positions for the last couple of years. So it's like, you know, they can play numerous positions in the secondary, but we need people who we can say, you're playing this spot, you're playing this spot, you're playing this spot. Not, you know, when we have a bad defensive down, then all of a sudden we're switching up positions and putting different players in different positions, because just like when you study any game before you play any team, you're studying your opponent. So if you're constantly getting moved to different opponents throughout the game, I feel like as a player, that's going to kind of mess with your mindset, because now you're having to learn different players as the game is going on.
Now, to kind of piggyback off that, and I'm going to start with you, Brandon. This is it's off topic, but it's on topic. A quick little tangent. What do you guys think about Jim Schwartz at this point in his Eagles career? What is the overall consensus? Because I feel like a lot of people say a lot of different things. There's people that love Jim, Schwartz. There's people that hate him. What is your feeling? Let's start with you, Brandon.
So, I mean, I've liked in recent compared to when he first joined the team. I think we've been blitzing a lot more, and I like the blitzing a lot. The only problem is that when your corners aren't strong enough to man-to-man these wide receivers and we're getting beat deep constantly game after game after game, is literally the same thing. Everyone keeps running that sluggo route, that slant and go. Jalen Mills biting off the top, and it's just like every time we're getting beat. And Ronald Darby against the Dolphins, like we were blitzing, but then Devontae Parker is looking like Julio. So it's tough. And but I mean, I also hate that like when it's like 4th and 10 and he has like the whole defense playing at the sticks on the 10. Oh my God. It infuriates me that he does that. But needless to say, I do think he's held it down, and it's tough to say. There's games that our defense look baller and they're getting turnovers and everything like that, but there are times when we have to rely on that offense to score 30+ points in order to escape a game. So that's my take on it.
We'll go to you, Kev. How do you feel about it, Kev?
I mean, I think he's decent. I think he improved, year by year. But like you said, that prevent defense on 4th down, like 4th and 15. It's like 4 games we could have won like that.
Right.
I think it was that Tennessee game, like year before last. We was up like 17-0, and then it came down to that, 4th and 15, and they did a prevent defense, kind of killed that game. And then the other game too was the Carolina game when Torrey Smith burnt us for that first down.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, he's blitzed some more, which is good. But I think he's doing a good job. Like, depends, like, with the players we had, the defensive line, the defensive line. Fletcher Cox the year before it last wasn't, healthy. But once he started getting healthy, our line got better with the pressure. And last year we got better with the pressure.
For sure.
I think he's still, he's doing a good job. But I think it's the way he used Slade this year is going to, going to decide if he's going to keep his job or if he's going to move on with him or what. So it's just my opinion. So
how about
he's
you,
doing good.
I honestly, man, I think I'm kind of 50-50. I feel like we have if it weren't for our offense having big games and putting up big offensive numbers, I feel like we would have lost more games, because we've had very close games where our offense has overly performed And then our defense has cost us the game. I mean, if you look at the last 2 seasons, I can literally count, I think, like 6 games that we lost by less than 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and I mean, of course, we're putting plenty of pressure with the front 7. I don't think that's our issue at all, like whatsoever. Our secondary is really what has hurt us for years and years and years. I mean, since we're talking about, you know, the Brian Dawkins days, like our secondary has been horrible. I mean, when we won the Super Bowl, you know, we had a good run. Everybody was healthy. And I feel like health is something that also plays a part. Our defense seems to take a little bit more of a hit when it comes to the healthy, you know, the health of our players. So, you know, when we got those big name guys that we're signing to big contracts like Fletcher Cox and Jernigan, and, you know, these guys go out and like Peterson, they go out and they play, you know, 6-7 games and they're out for the rest of the season, or out 6-7 games before we get into the playoffs. I feel like that hinders our defense as well, because now they have to come back in. They just missed, you know, 6 weeks. They got to come back in, recondition, get, you know, read the playbooks, get adjusted. And then, you know, by then we've had guys that have came off the bench and have been, you know, subpar for the last 6 weeks. So now we're in a position where we're getting our guys back, but, you know, do you want to get your star defensive players back and just throw them right on the field and rush them into the game because, you know, they've been sitting out for the last 6 weeks?
Right.
So that's just like with anybody, your body has to adjust when you're coming back off those injuries. And that goes along with our trainers and, you know, the personnel, making sure that our guys are healthy on defense for our defense to prosper. But other than that, man, I mean, I think Schwartz hasn't done a great job, but he hasn't done a bad job. I think he could, you know, I like the blitzing, as we all said. I like the fact that we have a front 7 that can blitz, and I feel like that's always going to be there. But I feel like as a coach, and we need to work on our secondary. If we can get some other pieces that add to Slay, then that's going to make our defense look a lot better, because right now, I'm sure all the other 31 teams are looking like, oh, all we got to do is throw the opposite side of Slay. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, you know Slay's going to cover Julio. You know Slay's going to cover Mike Evans. You know Slay's going to cover any top receiver that we play. Right. So all we got to do is throw the opposite side.
Right.
Yeah, no,
we all know our secondary is, you know, only like a one-sided secondary. Either we're going to play good on one side, and then the other side is just ass, and that's how we get beat.
Right.
You know, I agree with like you guys all really said. You can go either way with him. I think, like you said, there's good that he's done. There's obviously bad, but there's a lot of good that he's done. There's, you know, it's no coincidence that people like Bruce Hector and Hassan Ridgeway make a name for themselves under Jim Schwartz. There's no, you know, coincidence that people like Nigel Bradham break out under Jim Schwartz. He does the right thing with the players that he's given. Like you said, we have to worry about injuries no matter what. It doesn't matter what position it is. For some reason, we are just cursed every year. So we just need to hope that we can stay healthy. And like you guys said, we have the potential to be a great defense every time. We just have to stay consistent. So that kind of brings me into this next question. Who do you guys think will do offense and defense? Who do you guys think will be the Eagles MVP of offense and defense? Whoever wants to start.
All right. So, I mean, on defense, let's see. I think Brandon Graham has a good year. I don't know. I love Brandon Graham. He's been an Eagle for life so far, and hopefully he retires as an Eagle. I feel like he's only been getting better as the years have gone on, and he's been in the league for a while now. So I think Brandon Graham's going to step up, and when he moves around between the defensive end and when they put him at defensive tackle, he disrupts no matter where he is. So I'm going to go Brandon Graham on defense. And then I'll stick to my answer that I said earlier today regarding the breakout player. I'll stick to Miles Sanders being the MVP of our offense this year.
I think personally on offense, I like the Miles Sanders answer definitely, because dude had a beast season last year. So I definitely like that answer. I'm going to say Carson Wentz. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, all offenses start with a quarterback.
Right.
And I really just feel like Carson has been so underrated. Like you hear about all these other quarterbacks who throw for 4,000 yards and like 12 interceptions all year. And it's like, well, Carson's done that like every year he's been in the league. Regardless of the fact that he's been injured, you know, the season that we went to the Super Bowl, which he should have won MVP, but he's done this repeatedly every year. And it seems like year in and year out, he's never talked about when it comes to top quarterbacks. So I definitely think Carson is going to be an MVP on the offense. As far as defense, I'm going to go with the man Fletcher Cox. I mean, I feel like Fletcher, his presence is just so big on defense. You know, when those offensive linemen and those quarterbacks are looking across the defense and scanning, you can guarantee they're going to look at Fletcher and say, watch number 96. You know what I mean? Watch Fletcher Cox. He's bringing pressure. He's going to make sure that, you know, when he comes through the line, he's going to shake you up, whether he actually touches you or whether he alternates the way you think or who you're going to throw the ball to or who you're going to hand the ball off to. He's going to change the way the offense plays the game. And I feel like his impact is going to be a lot easier. It's going to make our defense, hopefully make it easier for our defense because it'll be that much more attention on him. And, you know, we got other guys. We got Jernigan, and then we got, you know, Addison and things like we got guys like that. So I feel like guys are going to, especially Fletcher Cox, is going to bring a lot of attention. But at the same time, if Fletcher Cox isn't bringing the attention that he needs to bring to the defense, then we're going to get beat in the secondary all over again. It's like every year. So, you know,
just tie it right back.
Fletcher Cox is definitely going to be MVP of the defense, but at the same time, we have to realize that he is not the defense as well.
How about you, Kyle?
Me? Well, definitely Carson Wentz, you know. Carson, definitely. He got the weapons now. I mean, it depends on health. Like, if he can stay healthy, offensive line can protect him. You know, he's probably like one of the best, you know, all-time turnover rate, you know, low percentage. So I think if he take care of the ball more, you know, he definitely have, you know, last year he threw for 4,000 without receivers. So I think, you know, he definitely got the weapons. So I think he's gonna have a breakout. Well, I think he's gonna have a better year than he had 2017, number wise, touchdown wise, especially in the red zone. So I think he's definitely the MVP offense and defense. I think I'm gonna have to go with, let's see, I say Slay, because I think he's gonna bring something different to the team. You know, he's an all-pro, you know, cornerback. He's like, to me, he's like a Revis. He'll shut down the side, but it depends on how Schwartz use him. If he has him shadow the number one player or you use him moving around, I mean, I think he could do big things. So I think he brings intensity too and leadership. Even though he's new to the team, he has experience with the Schwartz defense. He played with him before. So that's just my opinion. You know.
Well, so you guys took all my answers, so I have to be a little bit different now. So, but no, defense, I'm going to kind of stay on the same theme of defensive line, but I'm going to go Javon Hargrave. I think Javon Hargrave is going to really break out this year. You know, he had a good defensive line when he was in Pittsburgh. Do not get me wrong, but he did not have Fletcher Cox next to him. You know what I mean? So for him to have that, either Fletcher Cox is going to, you know, get less double teams, which I highly doubt, or they're going to have to, you know, give nothing but single coverage to Javon Hargraves. And you're not going to win many of those. So I think he's going to help a lot in our pass rush, a lot in our run defense. And last year, our pass coverage, our cornerbacks, our secondary were sneakily okay. You know, they were top 15 in most statistics. They just, when it mattered most, they either couldn't tackle or didn't remember that they were supposed to cover the guy that gets the ball. It's just, some of it was just crazy. It was, you watch it and it's like, wait, really? Like you guys said, the Dolphins game, it's like, how did we just lose this game? Like the Falcons game, we just didn't want to tackle Julio at the end. Detroit, you know, the list goes on. There was so many mental lapses that they shouldn't have even been close games, but they were, and we still had a chance to win. So it is what it is. I do think Javon Hargrave is going to probably reap the most benefits from everybody getting better around him. And then you have Jim Schwartz that's going to just let him go. They're just going to take the leash off him and just let him do what he does. So I'm going to have to go Javon Hargraves for defense. Okay. For offense, it gets a little murky for me. I want to, you know, honestly, I want to say Miles Sanders. I think he is going to be a huge part of what we do. But I have to say Carson. I feel like if Carson does well, the whole team does well. If Carson goes, or excuse me, the team goes as Carson goes.
Yeah.
And that's a big reason why when we were talking about AB and like if we would bring AB, I don't want a personality like that around Carson. I want Carson to be able to just worry about being Carson, playing football, telling the guys where to be, and they're there. You know what I'm saying? So I think the team that he has around him right now is just ready to play football. There's no outlandish, self-motivated type things or anything. So I like what he has around him, so I have to go Carson. Okay. I can honestly see Jalen Reagor doing way more than anybody expects. I wouldn't say so far. I wouldn't say an MVP, but I can see him being a lot better than people think.
So I got a question for you guys. Just to kind of step away from the Eagles a little bit. I know everywhere has always talked about Tom Brady going to the Buccaneers. But my question for you guys is, what other veteran quarterback in a new city, new team is going to really stand out this season? Will it be Phillip Rivers with the Colts? Will Mariota take over Derek Carr's starting position? Or will, Andy Dalton sneak in and take Dak's spot mid-season?
I think that's what everybody wants.
What do you guys think? What veteran quarterback do you guys think is going to make a difference for their new team?
I say Bridgewater, because he's definitely slept on. Bridgewater. I mean, it depends. They got a new coach. They got to get new weapons. But with McCaffrey, I think he could definitely open up the playbook, have a big season. Play action wise. So I think Bridgewater.
How about you, Rod?
I like to see what Phillip Rivers is doing in Indianapolis, man. I was actually very surprised to see him go there of all places. So I'm curious to see what him and T.Y. Hilton will do together.
Try to get those fantasy points out with T.Y. if he stays healthy.
I have T.Y. Hilton, so I'm hoping that's definitely a great. But I also have Nick Foles, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's going to probably win that job, and he's probably going to do pretty good. If you look at that team, they're built a lot like the 2017 Eagles were. They have a decent running core. They have a good enough offensive line. They have Alshon Jeffrey Jr. And Allen Robinson, because Allen Robinson kind of reminds me of AJ in his prime so much. I don't know why. But they have the pieces around him, and obviously they have that defense. But they have so many pieces around him that he doesn't have to do much but not mess up. And I feel like that's the perfect position for him to be in. And he has to beat out Mitch, that bum guy. I forgot his last name already because he's already Trubisky. There we go. He's already not a starting quarterback to me, so I already forgot his name. I would have to go Mitch Trubisky. Who are you thinking though?
I mean, I was curious with Phillip Rivers as well. I mean, that Colts offensive line is one of the best in the NFL. I'm just curious, with better blocking than he had on the Chargers, does he have the arm strength to really do what he needed to do? Because there was some plays last year where you would look at red zone or whatnot, and he would just do that sidearm throw, and it wouldn't quite make it there, and throwing weird interceptions. So I'm definitely curious to see how Phillip Rivers plays in the new spot. But I also didn't think of Foles. I forgot all about him being on the Bears. So that'll be interesting. I hope he starts. I mean, you got to show love to Foles.
I got him on my bench too. I got him on my bench in one of my fantasy leagues. So I'm hoping for that as well. Now let me ask you guys this. This is probably, he says, terrible situationally. Okay. I mean, he was in a Super Bowl situation and won that, so I mean, he didn't do too bad in that situation. But
MVP too, Super Bowl MVP.
Hey, that was a pretty good situation. But let me ask you guys one question. This is a big news over the past couple of days. I don't know if you guys saw the whole news about Darius Geis with his domestic charge. So that's two NFC East players that are probably done. Maybe for their career. DeAndre Baker getting into it over Madden a couple months ago. I don't know if you guys remember that. And now Darius Geis. What do you think is going to be the punishment for Darius Geis? Do you think it's done for him? Is he out of the league? I think he should be, but what do you think the NFL is going to do?
I think he should be out of the league. In this world, especially in the times that we're going through right now, there's no room for domestic violence. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's a zero tolerance policy behind that in any sport or any type of career. So I mean, I say unfortunately for him, but that's just, I mean, he made a decision to go that road. So you gotta take that L and take what comes with it, because there's no room for domestic violence in any situation whatsoever. Right.
I agree. I mean, they've been getting harsher with their penalties, but players still see it as, well, I'll make it back. So it's just like sometimes, eventually you're just going to have to lay the hammer down and be like, the NFL doesn't tolerate this, and nobody should tolerate this. I mean, so I definitely think that Darius Geis, which is unfortunate for him. I mean, he never really got a chance to shine. He was hurt the first 2 years, and then he goes ahead and does this. I mean, so I don't feel bad. He made these choices, like you said.
But he's better than Miles Sanders. I had to interject that. Let's all remember that he's on.
We gotta tag Madden and all this. Madden, you still think he's better? But yeah, I mean, it's time to lay the hammer down. It's enough. I mean, there's no place for any domestic violence or anything like that. So.
How about you, Kev? 2018.
Oh, yeah, I think it's a wrap for him, at least this year. I think, like you said, where everything's going on, with the Me Too movement and the defensive violence and all that stuff. I think, they may give him like the whole year, and then depends what the how the case is. Right. I don't know, just my opinion, but yeah, that whole Madden rating was crazy. How can a guy that never played more than 5 games be higher than Miles Sanders?
I don't understand none of those ratings. I don't understand not one of them. Like, I'm trying to act like I'm not going to buy Madden this year, but I know I am. Like, it is what it is. But those ratings are just crazy, and every year it's like that. Like, oh my god, I hate the Madden ratings. Let me ask you guys, kind of talking about. I'm not going to go into Madden because I made like 10 videos about it, and I'm getting triggered just thinking about it right now. But who do you guys think were some snubs or some reaches in the NFL Top 100?
Rod or Kev, you guys can go first. I know me and Joe talked about this last week, so we all know how I feel about Carson not being in there.
I definitely think it's Carson. Definitely, we can't, come back, win a division, play full 16 games, and not make the top 100 when you have better numbers than most of the people on that list. But to me, I think it's let's see, Brandon Brooks, I think. Brandon Graham. My bad. Brandon Graham.
Okay, yeah.
My bad.
It's okay, because Brandon Brooks was in the 90s. That dude should have been up there. That dude, he's the best guard in the league.
Yeah. No, but yeah, definitely Brandon Brooks. Brandon Graham. My bad. Because like you say, he was 2017. He helped us win the Super Bowl. 2018. Last year he came back. Contract. He definitely balled out. With the sacks and the pressure. So.
Yeah,
I think he got snubbed because he doesn't really get that much, shine around the league, just to us, but he definitely should have been in that list. But it's just my opinion.
How about you, Rob?
For me, I haven't really personally looked too much into the top 100 list. I know I've heard some things about Carson, and me personally, Eagles till I die. I feel like Carson has way better potential than half of the quarterbacks that are in that list. Right. If you look at the numbers and you look at the stats, like I said earlier, I feel like Carson is very underrated. I feel like a lot of people, they go off the fact that, number one, he came from, North Dakota State, which is not a very prominent college. And then he comes into the league in second year. We know he should have won MVP regardless of the fact that he got hurt in week 13. He should have won MVP because he had the numbers and the team had the best record of the season and went to the Super Bowl and won. So the fact that even though he was hurt, he should have still won MVP. I even think he could have won MVP last year because of his numbers. I mean, they pick these MVPs and numbers, I feel like play a part, and the way that they play for the team plays a part. And a lot of these people that are winning MVPs are on teams that are going like 11-5, 13-3, 12-4, and then you have us where we were literally like this close from missing the playoffs the last 2 years.
Right.
And who comes and saves the day? Carson Wentz and company. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like he just gets overlooked in the stats. I mean, in the last 2 years, the man has thrown less than 30 interceptions in 2 years.
Right.
And then you got guys that's throwing like, Jameis Winston throwing like what 35 in a season, but they're like bowing down to him because he threw 50 touchdowns or however many touchdowns he threw. You know what I mean? So I feel like things like that just kind of show disrespect to Carson in general, because I'm not saying this just as an Eagles fan, but as an NFL fan in general. I feel like if you watch and study the game of football, you don't even have to study the game. If you watch the game every Sunday, every Thursday, and every Monday, there's plenty of quarterbacks who don't even compete, who don't even compare to Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz should at least be a top 15 player in the NFL, just based off of the accolades that he's done and what he's done for our team.
Now, I agree 100%. Somebody that kind of struck me was Miles Sanders. Now, even to compare, let's stay on Carson Wentz for a second, and then I'll say why I thought Miles Sanders. But with Carson Wentz, you look at somebody even in our division, Dak Prescott. How do you say somebody that had darn near 3 1,000-yard receivers and missed the playoffs, didn't score a touchdown in I think all the games they lost to a team with backup cornerbacks and secondary players? How is he in the top 50, but Carson Wentz is not even in the top 100? Like, that's insane.
It's America's team, man.
That makes no sense to me. Like you said, he put the team on his back. The only thing people ever say is the injury history, and I understand that. It's football. People get hurt. Is he a little bit more injury prone? It sometimes seems like it, yes. But I feel like he's out for, I think he's missed 8 games compared to Dak Prescott. That's not that many, man. That's really not that
It's
many.
really not.
You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Season.
Exactly. And it sucks that you lose it, and you don't want that to happen. You obviously want your quarterback to go 16 games. But come on, man. Like, come on. But so the reason why I say Miles Sanders, though, you look at some of the players that were in the top 100, namely Josh Jacobs. I feel like he's very comparable. If you look at the stats, he did just about the same that, Jacobs did in less amount of games. So I feel like he's another player that's highly overlooked. And he was in a committee. He's not even the only guy with the getting fed on that backfield. And he's out there balling.
The only reason he got fed more is because Jordan Howard got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, when you look at it like that, when he didn't really play too much in the beginning, he was learning the system, to have the numbers comparable to another rookie who started the whole season. Mm-hmm. I mean, that just shows how good Miles can be. That's why I'm pumped to see him start in full 16.
Oh, yeah. What do you guys think about, like, the whole COVID shortened season, and like, how do you guys think it's going to affect these players, the rookies probably mostly? How do you think it'll affect them?
Honestly, man, I think the only thing that's going to affect them is the fact that those 4 weeks that we're not going to have the preseason is going to be 4 weeks they're not going to be able to adjust to the real game when season 1 or when week 1 starts. Right. I feel like as far as like the learning and the reading the playbooks and the practices and things like that, I feel like it's all going to be the same. I mean, when you're a professional, you've done this for X amount of years, you know what to do when you hit the field. But I feel like, every season, when this preseason starts, that kind of gives the teams and the guys that time to, get back into the game. You know what I'm saying? Right. Just kind of get back into getting used to getting hit and taking hits and things like that. And I feel like with us missing the preseason this year, it might kind of bring a little bit more, not unnecessary, but injuries that we wouldn't expect. Just because we haven't had the time. These guys haven't had the extra time to get that conditioning in that they've been so used to getting. So I feel like that's going to maybe, as far as COVID-19 and them shortening the preseason, that's going to, have this effect. But as far as like the regular season, the playoffs, I don't think we're going to really see any difference. I think, of course, by like week 3, when everything's going full-fledged and the players have been getting it in and practicing for weeks at a time, I think, it's going to be all back to normal.
Do you think they should implement like a bubble like the NBA did?
Honestly, it wouldn't be a bad idea because I've kind of been watching ESPN lately. I've noticed that like the sports that are implementing the bubbles are being more effective. Of course, us as fans and consumers of the game and sports in general, we want to see the fans. We want to see that there. We want to see that interaction because that's what makes the game better for us to watch on TV, is seeing those fans and seeing those interactions with the players. But that's going back to what I said earlier. These owners are, putting millions and millions and millions of dollars into these players and bringing these sports back on TV. The last thing you want to do is be like the Miami Marlins, who had like 8-9 people go down in one day with COVID-19s and like their whole, not the whole season, but we're talking about at least 2 or 3 weeks worth of games that we're not even going to see them play because, they got a quarantine and all that kind of stuff. So I think the bubble effect, it helps, what I'm saying? It definitely helps as far as the players' health and, making sure that they're going to be healthy enough to play these games for us to watch. But as far as the fans, of course, it's a little, it's on the downside because we as fans want to see that interaction with the players.
How do you feel, Kev, about the whole quarantine season and if they should do a bubble or not?
I think they should do a bubble, but I think it's gonna be kind of hard because you got all these teams and you got to find a location for them to play a stadium. Yeah. So like it depends. Like you got to find a state that's not really high, infection rate, and then just like rent out a bunch of convention centers or whatever, hotels or whatever.
Florida.
I think that's not hard.
If
they could do that, that would be possible. If that's possible, that'd be definitely be the best thing. So you don't have to really travel. Cut down on travel and getting around people as much. But I think it's going to affect the season because I think most likely somebody's going to there's going to be more numbers popping up in the league.
Yeah,
but that's what we had before season.
Right. And just to kind of piggyback on the preseason, I think at least in our division, we kind of have the upper hand considering that we still got our head coach, Doug Peterson, the same the last 4 years, whereas the Cowboys, Redskins, and Giants all have new head coaches, and the Giants have a brand new head coach who hasn't been a head coach before. So I think at least for us, it's going to hopefully they've been conditioning at home and getting ready for the season because, like you said, any of those weird injuries like the groin, the hamstrings, anything like that when they're trying to sprint, not having the preseason can mess that up. But I also feel bad for the rookies or the back end players that are trying to get off the practice squad and they're not going to really get that chance to really shine like some players do in those preseason games that make the squad. But otherwise, I do think we have a solid core, even if those guys didn't make the team and it was like on practice squad anyways, like our starters and everything like that. So it's just interesting to see.
You actually brought up a question that I wasn't going to ask, but now I kind of want to ask. I've been watching some videos of people talking about who they think the wide receiver, core is going to be, how many we're going to keep. What do you guys think of Greg Ward? Do you think he's going to make the roster?
Yeah, I think now that Marquise Goodwin opted out, that opened up that spot right away. I think we keep 6 wide receivers, and he's going to be one of them. And I think one of the, not Jalen Reagor, but Hightower or Quez Watkins, they're going to be battling it out for that 6th spot.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think he'll make it because, he's familiar with Wentz, so, he can playbook-wise, he knows the playbook. He can help the younger guys, So I think he could be his security blanket. Like, say if Deshaun goes out and Alshon's not playing until later anyway, so.
Right, Alshon's not even playing until mid-season.
That's true. I mean,
he could be a security blanket.
Right.
Yeah, Kev, you kind of hit it right on the nail for me. I think he'll definitely stay just because I feel like as our receiving core, we definitely need those backup players and just to have that, that stability because you got players like DJ and people like, Alshon that's been kind of injury prone for the last couple of years. So you definitely, we got Gooden with Reagor, we got Mac Hollins, and we got Greg Ward and a couple of other decent receivers. You know what I mean? Luckily we're kind of deep in the tight end area with Ertz and Gobert, you know what I'm saying, to kind of help us out as well, because I feel like those two tight ends, they're definitely they can kind of play the receiver or the tight end position. So that's definitely going to help us. And as far as Greg Ward, I think he'll definitely make the team. And that's just going to help us out as far as injuries as well, because you can almost guarantee, unfortunately, I hope, you know, that it doesn't happen, but you can almost guarantee that Alshon is going to be hurt at least 2 games. And Sean Jackson is going to be hurt at least 2 games.
Right.
So with that being said, I definitely think having the wide receivers as far as Greg Ward and along with the other ones, and having Zach Ertz and Dallas Gobert, you know, kind of rotate between those positions, that'll definitely help us out.
Yeah. How about you, B?
I started off, so it's your turn, Joe.
I definitely hope he makes the team. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason why I bring it up, because I keep seeing people being like, "Oh, you know, he's on the bubble. He's on the." I hope not. I hope he makes it, because he's definitely earned his, his eagle wings.
I got a question that's kind of like away from football. Well, it is completely away from football, but I don't know if you guys noticed that news that the Detroit Pistons wanted to give J. Cole a tryout to join the team. So I guess my question is like a 2-part question. Is like, what are your guys' thoughts about that? And to kind of do the reverse role of a rapper joining the NBA, who do you guys think was like the best NBA player that got into the music industry?
Dan Lillard. I think
Sack. I was gonna go Sack.
He's nice. This is my opinion. I mean, Shaq was more commercial. You know, nobody was. He was more like entertainer. You know, he had little bars because he had help. With the Method Man and all that earliness.
Dame could spit though.
Dame
actually some lyricist, man. He's better than half of these rappers that's out here.
He
really is. I mean, he doesn't cuss too much. He's positive. You know what I'm saying? It's a positive message. So, you know, that's definitely good. I think Dame, as far as rap or athletes turning to rappers, is definitely number one. An athlete or an entertainer that will be an athlete. I mean, J. Cole, I've seen him play basketball. He's definitely good. Another one, I really don't know. You know, I mean, I guess you could say, if you know, we're all kind of, or you know, Cameron. You know, back in the day, Cameron had some game.
Him and Mace. Him and Mace used to ball. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Master
so
P
I
was
definitely feel like Cameron would have been somebody as an entertainer that could have been in the league. Besides, you know, Master P, which we all seen.
Quavo could play too, but he just you know, he's got a little drive. That's it. You know.
Yeah. Well, J. Cole used to play. J. Cole played for, I want to say, Georgetown.
I think he played for St. John's.
St. John's, there we go. I knew it was somewhere out there. But yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah. 2 Chainz was playing for Alabama, I think. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you that big, you better go play something. Like, you better go get some type of. But I honestly, if J. Cole makes the team, bro, I will be a Pistons fan for a little while, just because that would be dope to watch. And he's gonna play with Tobias Harris. And Tobias Harris looks exactly like J. Cole.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like, he looks exactly like J. Cole. It is crazy, bro. So that would be hilarious. Hilarious to see, you know, the twins on the same court at the same time. But I think it's just a publicity stunt. I don't think.
Yeah.
What is your? Oh, that's a good question. All right.
Jordan should sign him in Carolina. You know?
Let's get this question.
True.
Awesomeness Sports asks, "What? Yeah, go Nets. I like that Eagle season. What is your favorite NFL rivalry?" We'll start with you, Brandon, and work our way down.
I mean, this might be the consensus of the group, but maybe everyone's going to try to switch it out. So I'm kind of glad I went first. But I mean, I'm going to have to go Eagles Cowboys, man. I have so many boys that are Cowboy fans. And just every Sunday when we're just talking junk about if Dak played worse or Wentz was this. And then when those games come up, those Eagles Cowboy games, man, there's something, I don't know, I get hyped. And I know my boys get hyped, and we're all in group chats talking that ish and everything like that. So, I mean, Eagles Cowboys is my biggest one.
I'm gonna say the same thing, man, just because I feel like between the Cowboys and the Patriots, those are the 2 most hated teams in the NFL. I mean, I guess you can X out the Patriots now because Tom is down there in Tampa Bay. So the Cowboys are by far the most hated team in the NFL. I definitely say the Cowboys and the Eagles. I personally look forward to those games because I'm ready to talk my junk. I'm ready to talk my trash. I'm ready to hit every Cowboys fan up, get on Facebook, and just post nothing but trash talk all game. So
Right.
me personally, that I live to see the Eagles and the Cowboys play. That's my personal favorite rivalry.
Yeah, me too. Definitely Cowboys, Eagles rivalry definitely goes back. The Buddy Ryan days. Before then. The Bounty Bowl and all that. So definitely hatred for Cowboys. So
Yes, sir.
they
Yes,
swear they
sir.
swear Dak they swear Dak is like the next Marino or the next
Right.
Favre or something.
Seriously.
The next Marino they won't pay.
Yeah. Yeah, they swear he's like all that without Zeke. He's just like an average quarterback. So
Facts. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, definitely not.
I think we all hate Cowboy fans more than we actually hate the team. I mean, obviously we hate the team, but the fans, and it's especially with Patriot fans, I could care less about the Patriots themselves. Like, go ahead and win all you want. I really don't care. It's their fans that just make me hate that organization.
Yeah.
But I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason I'm an Eagles fan, my whole family are Giants fans, literally. I've got a couple of Patriot fans sprinkled in there. But my first game, one of my first football games was an Eagles versus Giants game. And I was young, didn't really have a team. My dad was like, listen, if the Giants win, you got to be a Giants fan. Giants lost, I became an Eagles fan. I've been an Eagles fan for like 20 years. So just for that and just for the family rivalry that it creates, I have to say the Giants. It's just that every time we play, we usually win, which makes it awesome. But it's always a good game. It's always a fun rivalry. Yeah. And like I said, just having that family aspect of it is always fun. And some of the miracle at the Meadowlands, there's like 3 or 4 times that it's come down to the last play with us. So there's a lot of history. But I agree with you. I think Dallas versus Eagles is probably a top 5 rivalry in the NFL, period, not just being an Eagles fan. You know what I'm saying? It's a historic battle. I definitely love it. So let me ask y'all one more question, and then we're probably going to end this out. What do you guys think? It's kind of a 2-parter. Where do you guys see the Eagles ending up in the NFC East, division-wise, record-wise? And who do you think your Super Bowl prediction would be? I already have yours, Brandon, but we'll start with you, Rod.
I think the Eagles will end up 11-5, maybe 12-4.
Okay.
I think we'll win the division. I'm a little iffy on how we're gonna play in the playoffs, and that's gonna be, if we get a first week bye and who the team is gonna be that we're gonna play that first week at home and things like that come into play. But of course, we don't know about that for a whole, another 6-7 months. Super Bowl. That's kind of tough. I'm gonna say I think the Chiefs will go back because Patrick Mahomes got a lot of years left in him.
That boy's serious.
Left in him. So
10 to be exact. 10
I think it'd be the Chiefs for the AFC, and for the NFC. Don't sleep on A-Rod, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see Aaron Rodgers get it in and get another Super Bowl before he retires.
I hear that. That's a good pick.
How about you, Kev?
Me, I think our season, we definitely don't win a division. I think we're going to go 12-4. And I say we probably go to the conference final. Just, legitly.
I hear that.
And I think Super Bowl teams, I think, will be Ravens, because I think that defense is going to spark them. And I think with the rookies that they picked up, because, they're usually known for their tight ends with Lamar Jackson. I think Hollywood Brown's going to have another year on his belt. He's going to break out, even more. And I think they just drafted another receiver that's going to be nice. So I see that team. And then the NFC, I'm thinking Seattle, even though I hate, they are rivals now. They beat us all the time. But
they beat us every single time.
Russell Wilson is the truth to me. He takes that team. And their defense kind of slightly got better. So I just think, that team, Russell Wilson.
They got Jamal Adams.
Yeah, and Jamal Adams now too. But
I think this is kind of a winner bust for them right now. As much as they gave up for Jamal Adams, this is kind of, these next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, short window. They got like a 2-year window.
Exactly.
I think Russell Wilson, I think is going to definitely lead that team. But I think the Ravens probably win this on Super Bowl.
I can see that. Do you want to change any of your picks, Brandon?
Nah, man. I'm going to stick with what I said, the Ravens and the Buccaneers. but I have the Ravens winning it all. And that's just me saying that. Deep down inside, I obviously hope and pray the Eagles are in the Super Bowl for
Oh,
sure.
yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
But just
we just can't say it though. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know?
everybody's gonna say, "Oh, well,
That's why I say conference final.
fans.
That's why I say
We
conference.
gotta pick another team."
Right,
Exactly. We got to stay core, stay unbiased. You know what I'm saying? Do you think the Eagles are going to win the division? I don't think
for
we
sure.
went over that.
I for sure think the Eagles are winning the division. Like I said, they have the best continuity right now with Doug Peterson. Even with Doug Peterson being out with COVID, he could still be over Zoom. And then you have Deuce Staley stepping in right now as the assistant head coach anyways. And he's been in the system forever. So we have the continuity. The rest of the division have new teams. Washington's a dumpster fire at this time. I mean,
I didn't even think of that. I'm sorry to keep y'all here. I'm sorry, guys. But I didn't even think of that. How do y'all feel about Deuce Staley? Do you think like that? This is a big step for him. I feel like, it's an unfortunate situation, but this could be a huge step for Deuce. Everybody knows he wants to be a head coach. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of getting his feet wet. How do you guys feel about that? I'm excited for the guy.
I'm excited. I'm sad though that for a fact he ain't gonna be on the Eagles coaching staff much longer. We might got him for another 2 years maybe.
Especially if we win.
Especially if we win. Yeah, he's gonna because he wants to be either labeled as an offensive coordinator or, like you said, a head coach. He doesn't want just to be a makeshift assistant head coach, which he's really just a running back coach with a little bit more say. So I don't know. I love the dude. I hope the best for him. He's been killing it with our running back group all these years with McCoy and everything like that. Now Sanders, so Blunt. Yeah, he just brings the best out of people. And then when he called out Boston Scott for doing that slow motion spin move last year.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
But yeah.
I think you do good. I mean, it's good his resume. Because a lot of people are gonna be looking at him more and more now, especially if we succeed. I know last year, I guess some college wanted him, become like an assistant or something. They were looking into that, so I think he definitely, should be on the list. We hate to miss him, but we definitely got to win some more with him here.
Right.
Plus, I like how he called out Gates too when they was doing the rookie draft.
Yeah.
And him and him got into the scuffle. So you probably seen something early in him by his, his temper and stuff. So
right.
But yeah, I think it's a good look.
I think obviously Deuce is one of the legends of the Eagles. So it's going to be sad to see him go. But realistically speaking, I hope he does well, man. I hope he, of course, for our team as well. I hope he goes out there and does well, and it, kind of gives him an opportunity to get to where he wants to go as an NFL coach, or later on down the road. Because not everybody just wants to be an assistant, and if you have the caliber and you have the smarts to go out and be a coach of a team, especially when you have the accolades that you have as a player and as a coach, then I mean that does nothing but open opportunities for you. So realistically speaking, as Eagles fans, we all hate to see him go, but fortunately, unfortunately, he's gonna go to another team, and hopefully, he'll see greener pastures.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I feel like we're gonna have a very nostalgic year if we win this year, which I'm sure we will. It's gonna be a really good feel-good story with these coaches. I mean, like you said, you got all these guys, and then you got Jason Avant coming back, which is just, I mean, he's not really a coach, I guess. He's really just like a intern, if you will. But it's gonna be awesome watching, just those guys out there. And there's nobody better for these young wide receivers to learn from than somebody like Jason Avant. He's just a picture perfect type of person that's going to really show these guys how to be professionals. But with that said, I think we are going to end it. We just did like an hour lap, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you guys.
Quick shout out real quick. I just got a notification that Nathan Gary just got cleared to be back. So shout out to Nathan Gary. Welcome back. No more COVID.
Let's go. I'm happy about that. So all right, so awesome. So Rob, message me on are you on Facebook or?
Man, I got Facebook, Instagram. I can
drop all your links on here and tell people to look you up and stuff, man.
Okay, most definitely. I appreciate that, bro.
Yes, sir. So all right, so you know what time it is, guys. It's Philly the podcast. We out here. Fly Eagles fly. Peace. Y'all say bye.
Yeah,
All
guys.
right, bye.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. Nice meeting y'all.
Nice meeting
God
you,
bless,
man.
bro. God bless.
Yes, sir.